I used to homebrew beer years ago, maybe 20, 25 years ago. Okay, for the brewery wash, I'll use. Right. So I got everything. Small parts clean, put up. All right, I got my kegs in here. They just barely fit in here. So I got this refrigerator a while back, probably about 2-3 years ago, and I had planned to start kegging my beer, but never did. Just didn't get around. There's always something else that needed money to be spent on it, so I never got around to using this for kegging beer. But I kept all my bottles in here, all my bottled beer. It's got 3 shelves. And when I went to look at the refrigerators, this one is perfect size for 2 kegs, so you can fit 2 kegs side by side in here. And I also have, see, it just turned on because I'm opening it. I got this Inkbird set up on it. It keeps it around 49 degrees. See, that's the actual, there's a set temperature, and you can adjust that to whatever you like. I like my beer a little warmer than most, so I don't like it ice cold. You actually get, it kind of kills your taste buds if it's too cold. So anyway, this is my beer fridge. Hops up in the top here in the freezer. All kinds of hops and some specialty grains in there. So today, I finally broke down, got a little money saved up, and I'm going to be starting a keg. And I won't be needing these bottles anymore. So I'll probably put those bottles in storage for a while. I used to homebrew beer years ago, maybe 20, 25 years ago, and I had a keg system back then. So I'm pretty familiar with the kegging system, what all you need. And I was able to find these for a pretty good price. These are brand new kegs from, I got them on Amazon, but they're from Northern Brewer. They're the ball lock kegs. They're brand new. They look just like a Pepsi keg. You can probably get the Pepsi kegs, the used ones, cheaper, but then you need to rebuild them usually. Put new O-rings in these, and you know, it's not that big a deal really, rebuilding them, and I don't think it costs that much either. But I just decided I was going to start with new kegs. And so here's what you need to get started if you're going to keg. You'll need at least 1 keg, and these hold about 5 gallons. You'll need a regulator for your gas, which I bought a double regulator, so I'm going to have both of these kegs in the little refrigerator, and I can turn the gas on and off individually on these. So this adjusts your pressure. This dial here tells you how much gas is left in your cylinder. It's getting a lot of glare on it. These are Kegco. I like these. It's got a rubber kind of cushion on there if you bang it around a little bit. And you got your pressure gauge right there. Here's your attachment. It's got a rubber washer in there, but it also give you a little spare one too. It's kind of like a hard plastic more than rubber. And then you need some lines with ball locks, and you can get these also at the Jungle website. So this is made for food, FDA certified, and I like to just use a picnic tap for the beer, dispensing the beer, because you can keep this right inside the refrigerator, right on top of the keg. Just keep it connected up, and it stays refrigerated. Some people like those Mr. Beer refrigerators, and you get a tap around the top, which some of that beer that's in the tap is gonna get warm then. So this system I used in the past. I also had a small fridge like this. And you could also get by with just one gas line and one tap. But when you change, say you want a beer, you want this beer here, you want to drink some of that, and then you say you want one of these later, you're going to have to switch back and forth with your lines. So I went ahead and got the double regulator, 2 sets of lines, which are not very expensive. I think it was like $20 for these 2 sets of lines. Then it ends up being a lot of money though to buy all this equipment, but once you got it, then you're good. Okay, for the brewery wash, I'll use a scoop like this, and that's usually good for about 2 gallons of water. Use real hot water. I don't have a real long handled brush. I'm going to just use this bottle brush I got here. Reach down in there and then just going to scrub it out good. That brewery wash. Alright, I've got the ball lock fittings off of there. And this is how it's assembled. There's a little spring in there. O-ring on top. There's your valve with an O-ring, and there's the gas line. So I'm going to take all this. This is not sanitizer, it's just cleaner. Get the oils off it. Do the same on this side. But you got your dip tube in there. Same thing. So I'm going to take this off and dip tube out and wash it by hand on the outside. Alright, the nice thing about the brewery wash, it rinses with hot water. It just rinses, no residue left on anything. So I'm getting ready to reassemble this. Alright, when you go to reassemble, remember to put your gas ball lock on the inside and the plain looking one on the outside. So that one goes there, and this one has these little notches in it. That tells you it's a gas line, and that goes on the side that says in. Alright, so I got everything. Small parts clean, put it all back together. I still got some cleaning solution in there, so I'm going to run it through this line here. We're going to give it a little gas. Looks like that cylinder is not exactly full. It's got a red line here, tells you when to start ordering gas. So I'm gonna, it's got an adjustment knob here. I'm gonna set it to about, I'm gonna just crank it up to 20. You can hear the gas flowing in there. Just to pressurize everything, make sure there's no leaks on any of these fittings. You got fitting here, you know, make sure there's no I'll do once I get it pressurized. You can also check these fittings here, make sure there's no leaks when you reassemble it. Let's see if I can air it. Nope, I can't. Let's go ahead and start dispensing a little bit of our solution. So I'm just going to let that run through the line. That'll clean the lines out good. And when I get down here, and it pushes all that cleaner out, I'm going to go ahead and sanitize the whole thing before I put the beer in. Got some Star San. I use that to sanitize everything. And then I'm just going to go ahead, I got my beer all set up on the counter here. I'm going to go ahead and drain it I like using these valves. Makes it a whole lot easier than trying to siphon beer out and then, you know, catching the sludge. What you do is you just mount your valve a little bit higher and your sludge, all your yeast and everything will be down here and it'll come out nice and clean. So I'm just going to continue this. I done checked everything for leaks. Just take a little soapy water, make sure you don't have any leaks. But normally when you're just dispensing beer, you probably want to be around 10. To carbonate your beer, set it on 20, and then, you know, once it's filled up with all the carbon dioxide's in there, you're going to want to turn your gas off overnight and let it sit. Turn your gas off, let it sit on 20 like that, and then come back the next day and you can add some more. Alright, next is some star sand and some hot water. So I'm going to put in an ounce. That's star sand. That's good for about 5 gallons of hot water. Alright, I got my silicone hose. I'm going to connect up to my beer drain. I'm just going to go ahead and put that inside the keg. So I'm going to fill this up with hot water and that'll sanitize that at the same time then. Alright, I got keg number 2. I'm running the cleaning solution through it now. That one has a sanitizer, this one is a cleaner. Alright, I'm saving on the star sand a little bit. So this is the one that had sanitizer in it for the last 10-15 minutes, whatever it was. So I'm going ahead and pushing it into this other keg. I just went and took the tapper off of there just to make it easier. I don't have to hold it in. So I'm going to rinse this one off with the star sand. And then I'm going to pump it out of here. We'll start putting the beer in. With the star sand, there's no need to rinse. You can just leave a film on there. I would just pour out. If there's any extra remaining in there, I'd just go ahead and pour that out. But you don't need to rinse. Get there. Smells good. Alright, I got my kegs in here. They just barely fit in here. You have to really, to get that second keg in there, you have to kind of push a little bit. And then I might have to clearance it out on these shelf brackets a little bit. If I clearance that out a little bit, I could heat them with a heat gun probably and push them in a little bit. You'll never be able to put your shelf there again though, if you do that. But if you push hard on the second keg, you can squeeze it in there. And you also have to take out your, there's 2 door shelves. I'd take those out. Actually, one of them, I could probably put this one back in here. Right there. Because that'll clear the top of it up over the kegs. And I can put all my yeast and whatever other stuff in there. Plus there's another shelf on the top here where you can lay some beer or bottles of beer, whatever you want. Plus there's room behind the kegs. There's a hump back there where the compressor sits. But if you do want to get one of these, this is a Vasani. I'm not sure what the model number is, but it does fit 2 kegs. It's a tight squeeze. Alright, for now, I'm going to leave my gas cylinder on the side here. Whenever I want to pour beer, I'm just going to go ahead and hook the cylinder up. Whoop. I can tap one out, and I get down, I can take that gas off and shut it off right here.